Look at your wardrobe right now. Jeans, hoodies, sneakers, we take it completely for granted.
But if you traveled back 100,000 years, your entire closet would vanish. So what exactly did ancient humans wear? How did we go from completely naked
To wearing complex, stitched outfits that allowed us to conquer the globe.
The truth is, clothing doesn't fossilize. Fabric and fur rot away into dust. This leaves archaeologists with a massive detective puzzle to solve. For millions of years, early hominids didn't wear anything at all. They didn't need to. Their bodies were covered in thick, natural hair, and they lived in warm African climates. But around 1.2 million years ago, humans started losing their body hair.
Why? To help stay cool while running long distances under the hot sun.
Suddenly, we were hairless, exposed, and vulnerable to the elements.
And then everything changed when the Earth began to freeze. As the Ice Age set in, staying naked wasn't just uncomfortable, it was a death sentence. Humans had to innovate. And their first solution? Scavenging animal skins. But you couldn't just throw a fresh animal hide over your shoulders and call it a day. Untreated skin quickly rots, stiffens up like a board, and smells terrible. To fix this, Neanderthals invented the very first clothing technology, stone scrapers. They spent hours meticulously scraping away fat and tissue to make the leather soft. Some scientists believe they even chewed on the leather to soften it up further. At this stage, clothing wasn't tailored. There were no sleeves or pant legs. It was literally just a large cloak wrapped around the body, tied together with basic leather strips. While this kept them alive in the freezing cold, it drastically limited their movement.
Imagine trying to hunt a woolly mammoth while wearing a heavy, loose blanket.
If humans wanted to expand into even colder territories, they needed a revolution. And it came in the form of a tiny bone tool. Enter the eyed needle. Invented around 40,000 years ago, it changed everything. Before this, humans could only tie skins together. Now, they could sew them. For thread, they used animal sinew, which is a tough, stretchy tissue from tendons. They would carefully thread the sinew through holes punched in the leather hides. This allowed for the creation of tailored clothing, garments that actually fit the body. Suddenly, humans had trousers to protect their legs from biting frosts. They had tight sleeves that kept the freezing wind out of their armpits. And most importantly, they invented the first boots to protect their feet from frostbite. This wasn't just a matter of fashion. It was an evolutionary superpower. With tailored clothes, humans could hunt longer, travel farther, and survive anywhere. They pushed deep into the brutally freezing landscape of Siberia. And eventually, they crossed the Bering Land Bridge right into the Americas. As the Ice Age ended, the planet began to warm up significantly. Heavy fur coats became way too hot and heavy for daily life. Humans needed lighter materials, and they found the answer in plants. Around 10,000 years ago, the agricultural revolution changed everything. Instead of hunting animals, humans started farming crops like flax. Flax plants contain long, strong fibers inside their stalks. By soaking and beating these stalks, they extracted the raw fibers. They spun these fibers together to create the very first linen threads. Then came the ultimate textile invention, the weaving loom. By interlacing threads horizontally and vertically, they created sheets of fabric. Linen fabric was breathable, light, and perfect for hot weather. For the first time in history, humans were wearing actual cloth garments. But linen wasn't the only option. Humans soon made another massive breakthrough with animals. They began domesticating sheep. But early sheep didn't look like the fluffy cotton balls we see today. Over thousands of years, humans selectively bred sheep to grow thick, soft wool coats. They learned to shear the wool, spin it into yarn, and weave heavy blankets and tunics. Wool was a miracle fabric. It kept people warm even when it got soaking wet. Now humans had options: linen for the hot summers and wool for the cold winters. But everything up to this point was a dull, plain color, mostly shades of brown, gray, or off-white. That changed when ancient humans discovered the magic of natural dyes. They crushed colorful berries, roots, and even certain insects to make vibrant liquids. By boiling their fabrics in these mixtures, they could dye their clothes completely new colors. red from madder roots, blue from indigo plants, and yellow from saffron. Suddenly, clothing wasn't just about survival anymore. It became a way to stand out. As communities grew larger, clothing took on a completely new role, expressing identity. Before anyone even spoke a word to you, your clothes told them exactly who you were. Different tribes developed completely unique weaving patterns and color combinations. This allowed hunters to recognize their allies from far distances across the landscape. But it wasn't just about identifying your tribe. It quickly became about showing off your status. Leaders and successful hunters wanted everyone to know exactly how powerful they were. They began decorating their outfits with rare items like polished seashells and animal teeth. If you were wearing a necklace made of dozens of carnivore teeth, you were highly respected. It proved you were a skilled hunter who could survive the most dangerous threats. Certain rare colors, like deep purple or bright red, were reserved strictly for elites, because making these vibrant dyes took immense time, effort, and resources. As human society entered the Bronze Age, attire transitioned into a full-scale social ladder. With complex societies growing, humans needed more than just regular tunics. They needed specialized gear. As warfare and battles became more common, the first defensive armor was born. Early soldiers wore thick vests made of layered animal hide or boiled leather to absorb impacts. Eventually, they began attaching small plates of bronze or bone to the fabric for extra protection. But specialized attire wasn't just for soldiers. Laborers and travelers needed better protection too. Footwear underwent a massive upgrade from basic leather wraps to structured sandals and shoes. In ancient Egypt, woven papyrus reed sandals kept feet safe from the burning desert sand. In wetter regions, humans crafted enclosed leather shoes packed with dry grass for insulation. Headwear also evolved rapidly to serve different professions and environments. Farmers wore wide woven straw hats to block the blinding sun during long hours in fields, while high priests and rulers wore tall, decorative headpieces to look intimidatingly tall. Every piece of an outfit now served a specific purpose, setting the stage for modern utility clothing. As we move into the Middle Ages, attire became heavily influenced by global trade and royal decrees. Tailors began developing advanced cutting techniques, allowing for tighter, more structured clothing. Instead of loose draped tunics, garments were made to precisely fit individual measurements. Buttons, which were previously used only as decoration, were finally used as functional fasteners. This allowed clothing to be pulled tight against the upper frame, creating entirely new shapes. Men wore close-fitting doublets, while women transitioned into long, structured kirtles and gowns. Fabric choices still strictly separated the nobility from the peasant working class. The wealthy wore fine, imported velvets, satins, and furs lined with silk threads. Working people were legally restricted to rough, homespun woolens and simple linens. Even headwear was heavily monitored, with specific hats assigned to specific social ranks. Sumptuary laws fined anyone attempting to dress above their station or wealth level. Your appearance wasn't a choice. It was a strict legal statement of your birthright. As we enter the Renaissance, clothing exploded into a competitive art form across Europe. The global textile trade reached a massive scale, introducing new materials like complex laces. Ruffs, which were massive starched collars worn around the neck, became the ultimate fashion trend. Some ruffs grew so large that people literally could not move their heads or eat easily. This period also introduced the concept of slashing, where outer garments were purposefully cut. This allowed contrasting bright silk fabrics worn underneath to puff out through the holes. For the first time, fashion was intentionally making garments look structurally altered just for display. In Spain and England, heavy internal padding and structures like farthingales altered natural shapes. Skirts were held outward by rigid hoops made of wood or even flexible whalebone. Attire was no longer about matching the human body, it was about completely remaking it. This intense layer of decoration signaled immense wealth and total freedom from physical work. Clothing had evolved into a high-stakes theatrical production for the ruling classes. What started as a desperate shield against a freezing ice age became our ultimate canvas for self-expression. So next time you open your closet door, remember, You aren't just choosing an outfit, you are actively wearing the entire story of human civilization. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know what part of history surprised you most.